What is up, everyone? We are the Dynasty Diehards, and we are about to dive deep into the free agency moves we have had so far with legal tampering, what their impact is, and what our predictions are for the next few days as free agency looms and the new league year is coming. Hello, everyone. I am Nate Paulvote. That is my frazzled co-host over there, Matt Chester. We are the Dynasty Diehards here on the Razzball YouTube network. Before we get going, guys, please make sure to like and subscribe here on YouTube. We really super appreciate it. It helps us keep going. It helps us keep bringing you all this fantastic content. And I think with that, it's time to get into it here. Matt, we've had some big time news in free agency, and we're just 24 hours into legal tampering, right? We've got Saquon, we've got Kirk Cousins, we've got breaking news this morning on a few players that haven't even really been talked about that much. But what we're going to get into first here, Saquon Barkley to the rival Philadelphia Eagles. Matt, Tiki Barber was pissed. Says Saquon Barkley's dead to him.
Why? But, is it because he's going to an interdivision rival?
I mean, one would assume that, yes, that's the reason why. And look, if you're a team loyalist, I understand wanting these high impact players who you feel should be loyal to the franchise to stick around, especially as a guy like Tiki Barber, who played his entire career in New York. But that's a real old school mentality in a new school NFL. These guys have got to get paid. And a running back's window to get paid is so incredibly limited. They've got to take advantage while they can. And clearly New York wasn't going to pay him, right? They made that very incredibly clear.
So that loyalty should only go one way is what is the Tiki Barber argument?
No, my argument is this is a business.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, if the team wasn't loyal to Saquon, why does Saquon need to be loyal to the team? It's whatever.
Right. Do you want him to take less money? You're talking about a guy who's beating his body up. And yes, he gets to play a game for a living, but also he's going to be done at 32, 33 years old, realistically, at the most, if he can even play that long. And then he has to live the rest of his life on that money. So you know what I say? Good for Saquon. Now, what I say I don't love about this deal is the ding his fantasy value takes. Because there's no way that Philly can give him the volume he was going to get in New York, especially in the passing game.
True, but they will give him the offense that he couldn't get in New York either. So he's going to be on an offense that he might get 2 or 3 times as many touchdown opportunities.
No, that's Jalen Hurts.
True. He does have Jalen Hurts.
But does that change with Jason Kelce retiring? Does that change?
The tush push might not be as much of a go-to for that offense. I think that the Eagles will be in the red zone 3 times as much as the Giants. So that's worth something. That is worth something.
I mean, that's a fair point. He's moving down in my rankings.
That's fine.
There's going to be a loss of volume.
From where to where?
When I say that's a fair point. I probably RB 11. I haven't scoured my rankings yet. I'm kind of waiting for everything to finish falling. Probably RB 11, RB 12, somewhere around there. So still an RB 1, but there's a difference in tiers between an RB 11, RB 12, and an RB 5, 6. 4, 5, 6, where a lot of people have him right now. I don't think he's in Dynasty in RB 4, 5, or 6 at this point in Philly. He's still an RB 1, but just a back end RB 1.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, ETN is pretty much consensus around running back 6. I'd probably give 2 Saquons for 1 ETN.
Yeah, I can. I'm there with you. All right, we're going to move on now to the second most exciting signing, actually maybe the most exciting signing for me personally. Kirk Cousins signs a 4-year, $150 million deal with the Atlanta Falcons. You guys, I think we can actually have a little bit of excitement about Bijan Robinson, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts.
A lot of excitement is fine. Yeah, absolutely.
TJ Hawkinson. Look what he produced. Look how he produced in Minnesota with Kirk Cousins.
And he's a catch and fall guy, and Kyle Pitts is not.
Right. Now, I'm not going to say that I think Drake London is Justin Jefferson, because I don't. I think he's a very good wide receiver who's in a really bad situation his first 2 seasons, and now he gets a quarterback who is throwing to Justin Jefferson. So, I mean, buckle up.
Yeah, I think probably Addison takes the biggest hit on this. Justin Jefferson, if you don't want to put him as your number 1 receiver anymore this year, until they figure out quarterback, that's absolutely okay too. Drake London, he's probably going to be going. He's got to be back into the 3rd round of Dynasty startup, super flex startups,
somewhere around there. Yep.
And Kyle Pitts. If people want to take a risk on him and start bumping him up into the 4th round of tight end premium leagues, I get that too.
Dude, I've seen him getting moved up to Dynasty tight end 1 because of the Kirk Cousins signing, which, look, I'm not ready to go there because Sam Laporte is so freaking good, and so is Trey McBride. But also, Kyle Pitts was supposed to be this generational tight end. What have we said for the last 3 seasons? Get him a quarterback. Get him a quarterback. Get him a quarterback. They now got him a quarterback who will feed him. Fed TJ Hawkinson, even with Justin Jefferson there. This is going to be a pass-heavy offense, which leads me to, let's talk about Bijan Robinson here. I still think he's the RB1.
In Dynasty overall? Yeah,
Dynasty
I'm
overall,
with you. He could get 90 targets this year.
This is going to be a massively improved offense. Raheem Morris, and then you've got Zach Robinson, who is the quarterback's coach and the passing game coordinator for the Rams. And look what that offense did with Matthew Stafford last season.
So Raheem Morris, is he a Shanahan disciple?
Yes.
Okay, so you got the head coach coming from under Shanahan tree. You got the offensive coordinator coming from under the McVay tree. Yeah, it's going to be really fun offense.
Tree. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no, this is going to be a very fun offense. This is going to be a very different team than what we've been used to with the Arthur Smith, whatever the hell crap that was. Now, another interesting move, curious move. I need to stop saying interesting. We're going to move this one to curious. This is a very curious move. DeAndre Swift, and I know I spelled it wrong on the graphic, signs with the Chicago Bears.
Okay.
This show has always been really high on Roschon Johnson.
Half of this show has always been really high on Roschon.
This show. Well, at one time with a different host, this show as a whole was really high on Roschon Johnson. We are not high on Roschon Johnson anymore. How do you feel about Khalil Herbert with this signing?
Same as I did before. A lot of people are really up on Khalil, and a lot of people are really up on Roschon, and I'm just happy with the Swift that I have. I think it's going to be a 1A and then a 2A and B situation.
I'm going to be honest. I'm not that excited about this move for either side. I'm not excited for the Bears offense.
What about when they get rid of Fields and it's Caleb Williams in there? Still no? Okay, still no. That's fair.
But because here's what DeAndre Swift is. DeAndre Swift is a very good pass-catching back with limited abilities between the tackles and useless in short yardage situations, right?
How's he at blocking?
Fair assessment?
Mm-hmm.
He's not great.
Okay.
He's gotten better, but he's not great. Okay. So where does he fit in? If it's Justin Fields at quarterback, they don't throw to the running back.
That's a big if.
If it's Caleb Williams, I don't think they're going to be throwing to the running back much.
No,
this doesn't make sense to me.
I think his biggest path to playing time is being the most trusted protector of Caleb Williams.
But he's not that great at pass blocking.
It is a curious move.
I don't understand it. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's gotten better than I have noticed over the last couple of seasons. But I don't know. I'm just not really moved by this. DeAndre Swift, honestly, he's probably going to move down in my rankings a bit. Not that he was that high up anyway. He's had 2 chances on 2 different teams to make an impact, and he's had some flash games, but not really been worked into offenses that could have used him. And then and especially for me, the biggest thing with DeAndre Swift for me is Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs flourished in the role that DeAndre Swift was supposed to have.
Sure,
right?
sure.
So then what are we doing here?
Buying for an early second.
I'm selling him. And I'll take your early second.
That's fine.
All right.
Handshake deal.
Okay, moving on. Former Denver Bronco division rival Josh Jacobs, who apparently really likes cheese because I can't understand why he would sign in Green Bay otherwise, is now a Packer. Aaron Jones is out. Simultaneous announcement almost. And now we know that Aaron Jones has signed with the Minnesota Vikings. Matt, Josh Jacobs in Green Bay. Everyone is assuming he becomes some sort of Aaron Jones type running back.
Ooh, I don't know about that. Josh Jacobs has 4 or 5 years in the league, and he's never had a receiving touchdown. I don't think that's not Aaron Jones territory at all.
No.
Let's see.
No, it's not. I think this is an offense that is going to shift. I do like the signing. They haven't had a dynamic running back like this in a while, who's a more dedicated rushing back, I suppose. I don't know ranking wise how much I care. Consensus right now, he's RB 14. I don't know how much this moves the needle for me in Dynasty on Josh. Does it move it for you?
No, that's fine. If you want to have him as a low end 1, high end 2, that's absolutely okay. He's younger than we think. He's going to be 26 years old.
Sure.
It's unexciting. It's interesting, but unexciting.
Okay, that's fair. I want to get to some comments here because I don't want to talk about Josh Jacobs or Aaron Jones anymore because I don't think these signings mean anything. Real quick with Aaron Jones signing in Minnesota, I'm kind of meh about it because it's still Kevin O'Connell. It's still the same offense that really doesn't like to run the ball. And I guess maybe this is as good as time I need to talk about Sam Darnold apparently is the new starting quarterback in Minnesota. Okay. Yes. However, have we seen Sam Darnold with these kinds of weapons? Oh, we have. His first 4 games in Carolina when Christian McCaffrey was still healthy.
Okay.
And he had 3 30-plus point games in his first.
That's right. Just to start out the season.
Just to start out the season. Christian McCaffrey went down. They had some injuries on offensive line. The receiving core really didn't step up outside of DJ Moore. So I think that if Sam Darnold is going to succeed at any point, if he's going to find a situation where he can succeed, because God love him, the guy is trying to find somewhere to succeed. This might be the place. You give him Aaron Jones, all-pro running back, in his later years, albeit, but still reliable in the pass-catching schemes. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson. If he can't succeed in Minnesota, he's not going to succeed in the NFL. This is his last shot. If he wins the starting job in Minnesota and he flops, it's over for Sam Darnold. He goes back to just being a career backup. I don't think he's necessarily going to fail.
I don't think he's necessarily going to start either. I think that they've got a chance of moving up and getting McCarthy. There's still a couple free agent quarterbacks floating around, and I don't think he's getting $15 million guaranteed. I think he's getting it's more like a backup contract, right? So I think he's got like a backup a pretty high end backup quarterback contract.
It wasn't even 15; it was only 10, I think.
Okay,
but whatever it was, 10 to 15, yes, that is backup money. What I see happening, and what Carolina should have done last year with Andy Dalton, but we know that organization was full of idiots. Minnesota, not so much. We've got some pretty smart people in Minnesota. So if I'm Minnesota, this is what I do. I let Sam Darnold start. Pencil him in as a starter now. I trade up. I get JJ McCarthy because I think he fits that offense just super well. I think that's a place he can thrive. And you let McCarthy sit.
I'm with you. I like it.
You let Darnold roll with this offense. I think he can have some level of Kirk Cousins success I think he has the tools, and I think him spending time in the Shanahan system in San Francisco is probably really good for him. I'm not going to say I think he's a better quarterback than Brock Purdy, but I think he's right at that same tier skill-wise.
Okay.
So I'm interested to see what he can do in Minnesota. I think this is a loaded offense. If he can't do it here, he can't do it anywhere.
I think Nick Mullins, when he was starting for them last year, was putting up 18 points a game or something like that with that offense. So it's fine. He's usable. I would buy him for a third just to see. Probably still sell him for a second just because.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, that's about where it lays.
Yep. All right, I want to hit up the chat here real quick. We've got a bunch of comments. We've got Toronto Dave giving us the party emoji. Dave, thank you so much for tuning in. We've got loyal viewer Jamie Prague saying hello, y'all. Saying Mixon just got traded to the Texans. Jamie, we are going to get to that move here in a minute. What's Minshew's value in rookie picks for Dynasty Superflex? Also from Jamie Prague here for our audio listeners.
What's Minshew's contract? Did they get him for 2 years? I want to say
2 years, he was in 25, 15 of it's guaranteed.
There it is. Okay.
Without knowing what else they're going to do, I would say a late third to early fourth, but even
I got the mania.
Right
I got the mania.
No, I love Gardner Minshew, but
I'd give 301. That's fine.
Okay.
Or I'd hold.
Fine. All right. We've got Richard Sickles, who does our Dynasty trade chart here at Razzball. So check that out, razzball.com. Go to NFL and you'll find Dynasty trade chart in the menu. New man on the Minnesota Vikings, the Lizzo reference. You love to see it. He also says, as a Vikings fan, I hate how much I love Josh Jacobs to the Packers. I'm moving him up a smidge. That is hard to do. And then one more question from Jamie here. Minshew or Geno?
Got to go Geno because he's starting, and we don't know that Minshew is.
Same.
There's still a lot of conjecture. Fields is still out there, and Seattle's not going to replace Geno with Fields, but the Las Vegas Raiders might have Minshew backing up Fields, right?
I mean, the Raiders are the kind of organization that would overpay for a guy like Justin Fields. Because what we're hearing now, there was chatter that Atlanta was close to getting a deal done, couldn't decide on compensation. Obviously, they pivoted to Kirk Cousins. So I could see the Raiders doing it. I could also see the Broncos doing it now that they've missed out on their darling Sam Darnold. Because good God, we're getting Zach Wilson chatter here in Denver.
Oh no! Why? With Sean Payton bringing over the entire 2021 Saints team. Wow.
Thank you, Jameis Winston
and Taysom Hill. Just get the whole family back at the table.
Why not? I mean, screw it. All right, we're going to move on here because I'm tired of talking about this. We're going to talk about Joe Mixon, who was, Jamie, released by the Bengals last night.
Nope, he was projected to be released, and they kept him, and they traded him. Yeah, it was a trade.
Well, that's what I get for going to bed too early and then waking up late and hopping on a show with graphics I made last night. So, all right, so we're going to fix this here. Joe Mixon was traded to the Houston Texans. I'm personally thrilled for Joe Mixon.
It's a good spot. It's
a really good spot for him. I think he can thrive here. He's not going to be asked to do too much. Devin Singletary obviously has moved on, which will maybe talk. I don't know. Is that worth talking about?
Not really. He's going to the Giants to replace Saquon. It's fine.
All right, yeah. They'll replace Saquon with Devin Singletary. They're gunning for the first pick, aren't they?
They need one, and they need to not spend it on Daniel Jones or Saquon Barkley.
Yep. No, completely agree. I think this is. I mean, I'm not going to have him super high in my ranks.
Joe Mixon.
Yeah. I just don't think. I don't think there's not going to be a ton of volume. This is so last offseason when we knew it was going to be Singletary and Pierce in the Texans backfield, we did like a 10-minute segment on it. There's a short on the Dynasty Diehards YouTube channel, which we will be having more short form content coming out here soon. We'll let you guys all know when that comes. But we talked about these two, and it was basically like corporate asks you to find the difference between these two pictures. I can't find a difference. They're the same picture. This is an upgrade to that. Mixon is a much better running back than Devin Singletary. I feel like he was strung in an offense where he just didn't need to do much because they like to throw the ball. Now he's in an offense that also likes to throw the ball, but they use running backs more than Cincinnati did. And Joe Mixon's been really good in Cincinnati for what his volume has been. Inefficient, but behind a really bad offensive line. I mean, what do you have him pegged at? Like mid-tier RB2?
Slightly below Josh Jacobs just for age, but probably in that Aaron Jones range where they can get it done for you for one more year, maybe.
Yep. I like that. Oh, look, I'm not running out to trade for him.
Right. Neither am I.
No, if I have shares of him,
I'm happy with it. It's fine.
I'm probably not going to get a return on it if I'm trying to trade him. I'm holding Mixon right now. Now we're going to move on to another. I mean, honestly, this move had people spiraling, but Tony Pollard going to the Tennessee Titans. They're pairing him up with Tyjae Spears. This is tough for all of us Tyjae Spears truthers. Or is it? Because a lot of people were spiraling saying, well, that's it. Tyjae Spears, date of death, March 11th, 2024, whatever. I think I mostly disagree.
I see it as another buy window. He was trending up towards being worth a first in a bunch of markets. And now if you can get him for a mid-second again, especially in this running back market, I'd be okay with that. I'd still like to spend a little bit on picking up some more.
So a constant conversation I've had, not just on this show, but on various different shows, is that Tony Pollard needs to be the 1B. Mm-hmm. That's when he's successful. That's when he was RB8 in 2022, was because he was 1B to Ezekiel Elliott's 1A. Mm-hmm. Wasn't successful last year without Zeke. He's not a short yardage guy. He's not going to punch the ball into the end zone for you. He's not going to get you that short yardage, third and inches, fourth and inches.
I think he had 17 touches within the 5 yards of the end zone last year, and I don't know if he made any of them in. But it was the numbers were insane.
It's DeAndre Swift-like. So Pollard has to be in the right offense. Tennessee's not that offense, I don't think. I think this offense favors Tyjae Spears.
Yeah, and if it is that offense, it seems like they have a lot of overlap in their skill sets.
And Tyjae Spears wins out. He's younger. Yep. We can talk about his knee issues, but he played all last season healthy.
Yep.
And Tony Pollard's not a guy that you're bringing in to be your bell cow back.
Right.
And if you are, you deserve to lose.
It begs the question, where's Derrick Henry going? Dallas still hasn't made any moves.
Ooh, I could see Dallas.
He still seems likely to go there.
I thought Aaron Jones was going to end up in Dallas.
Okay.
But, I mean, McCarthy's the one who drafted him. It just kind of made sense to me.
That does make sense.
Didn't happen. I don't know about Derrick Henry. I could see him in Dallas.
I could too.
I mean, that's almost not fair.
It would be fun. It would be really fun.
It would be really fun. Well, here we're gonna do a candle prayer circle for Derrick Henry to the Cowboys. Even though, look, I'm a notorious Cowboys hater. My dad grew up in Texas and for some reason despised the Cowboys. So I've hated him since the Aikman era.
Damn.
What can I do? Yeah, I know. Long hate. That's what happens when you're old, right? So we've got a comment in the chat here from Richard Sickles. Heard Henry was deciding between the Texans and the Ravens. Seems unlikely he's going to go to the Texans now with Joe Mixon. If he's going to the Ravens,
well, wow.
Right, buckle up, AFC. Yeah. The Chiefs might have a contender here. Someone who could actually knock him out.
God, that would be nasty. That would be really fun.
That would be nasty. All right, we're going to talk about.
Actually, you know what? He would replace Gus Edwards because Gus Edwards went to replace Austin Ekeler with the Chargers.
Yep.
So,
what an exciting move.
Well, he went there. Who's their coach now? Chargers coach
Jim Harbaugh.
God, Harbaugh. So Gus Edwards reunion with Jim Harbaugh. That's of note.
Yeah, sure. I still think there's a chance that they draft JJ McCarthy and make him sit behind Herbert for a year.
Ooh, sure, why not? Everything's so up in the air. It's hard to commit to anything right now.
I've gotten some pushback on that statement, but dude, nobody thought Tennessee was going to trade AJ Brown. So So we're going to get to the last three kind of relevant moves here. We've got Austin Ekeler going to the Washington Commanders, Gabe Davis going to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Russell Wilson going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Russell Wilson is on this list just because this is kind of ruminated around for a few days, and I think we're at a point where we've talked enough about this one that I don't really care. We're going to see what this offense is going to be. A lot of people think Mason Rudolph apparently and Kenny Pickett could beat him out for the starting job. So we're going to let them all spin their wheels. Russell Wilson will be the starter day one, week one in Pittsburgh, and he's a massive improvement over both Rudolph and Kenny Pickett. And I won't hear anything otherwise, Matt.
Yep, you're right. You're right. It makes George Pickens an interesting target for me for the first time. Because it's, he's been just trapped in purgatory for a couple of years now, and his talent is too much fun to watch, and it's undeniable. It's just never going to be. It's never been consistent enough to want to start him or have him on your team, and depend on him. But I think their playing styles kind of fit each other, and I think Pickens is going to be able to do a lot more downfield than he was able to. With Kenny Pickett or, the husk of Big Ben or anybody else that's been a placeholder in the meantime. Any other impact?
Where does this put you on Pat Freiermuth?
He's fine. He's always been a low-end one, which is, replaceable, but also kind of dependable if you want to pay down. I think he's going to get a nice increase because this last year he was pretty much there's not much that a fall down tight end can do in fantasy if the quarterback is only throwing about 7 touchdowns a year.
Yeah, well, and that's anyone arguing that Kenny Pickett is a better option, guys. He has fewer touchdowns over his career than Russell Wilson had last season. Just to be clear, wow. Now Gabe Davis to the Jacksonville Jaguars. On my give a crap meter, this is sitting at like 0.5.
Okay.
This is irrelevant to me.
Pretty much.
I can't see him.
Yeah, Gabe Davis and Calvin Ridley were pretty much next to each other in the Dynasty rankings, and now they're next to each other on the field, and there's just not much to pique my interest on this.
Yeah, I'm with you. Now, the last one here, Austin Ekeler to the Washington Commanders. I mean, Antonio Gibson signed with the Patriots, and that means so much to us that I didn't even put him on this graphic. I think there's some value to Ekeler, but it's not as an RB1. This is a back-end RB2.
Yeah, he's name value McKissick from 2 years ago, right?
Oh, yeah, that's a really good analogy. Unfortunately, Austin Ekeler, I love him. He's a Colorado boy. Always wish for him to succeed, but in fantasy, I'm kind of done, I think, at this point. So.
Yeah, sad day.
All right, so we're going to get to a few predictions here to round out the show. Remaining free agents, these names are so unexciting. Outside of really Derrick Henry, J.K. Dobbins, who you just mentioned, is still floating around there. We've got A.J. Dillon, Deontay Foreman, CEH is still available. Drew Lock, Tyler Huntley, Josh Dobbs, Mason Rudolph, Ryan Tannehill.
Gross.
Outside of Derrick Henry, I mean, who's exciting on this list?
You want to read the list again?
So we have got, these are just running backs and quarterbacks. Drew Lock, Tyler Huntley, Josh Dobbs, Mason Rudolph, Derrick Henry, J.K. Dobbins, A.J. Dillon, Deontay Foreman, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I care about Derrick Henry. Anywhere else, those guys are auxiliary depth signings anywhere they go. Wide receiver gets a little more interesting, though. We've got notable names. Hollywood Brown,
Ooh.
Calvin Ridley, Tyler
Okay.
Boyd, Curtis Samuel, DJ Chark.
Uh-huh.
Michael Thomas, I feel like, is going to end up in Denver with Sean Payton.
Nice.
Noah Brown was actually fairly impactful at the end of the season with Houston when they needed him with injuries. Then you've got Chase Claypool,
Mooney, right?
Donovan People-Jones. Mooney signed with the Falcons this morning.
Oh, did he really?
3 years, $39 million. So,
oh, that's a really interesting one. Because they need a Mooney next to Drake London and Kyle Pitts. It just makes sense.
Well, that bumps. Van Jefferson's the wide receiver 3 there now.
Is he still there?
Yeah, he's still there. That's an okay offense. Then at tight end, Logan Thomas, Irv Smith, Austin Hooper, Adam Troutman, Gerald Everett. None of those guys. Again, those are depth signings. Troutman's back in Denver. You know Peyton's going to re-sign him.
Yeah, I don't know about Gerald Everett going back to the Chargers. I think they picked up Colby Parkinson from Seattle for $20 million. Just none of these names are interesting.
I think I could see Harbaugh going after AJ Barner in the draft because he's probably a late day 2, early day 3 guy.
Okay. Ooh, Darnell Mooney,
Michigan.
Darnell Mooney, $39 million, $26 million fully guaranteed, 3 years.
That's good for Darnell Mooney.
Yeah,
I love that for Darnell Mooney. No, that's fantastic for Darnell Mooney. Makes me happy.
I dig it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys, Matt, like
is he Kirk Cousins' new Addison? Is that what's going on?
Probably.
Okay.
But a more mature Addison.
You heard it here first.
You said it. Don't put that on me.
I'm not standing by it.
Just in case. All right, everyone. I want to thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Dynasty Diehards. I want to remind you to check out our Dynasty trade chart curated by the one and only Richard Sickles. You can find him at Ginger Beardman on Twitter. Replace that A with the 3. It's a fantastic tool to make sure you are getting the right value. He is updating it daily and has been updating it along with all of these new free agent signings and trades. Also, please make sure to follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at FFDinoDiehards, at Rasball, at Nate Paulvote, and at FFMadJester. And as always, please, 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 we beg of you to help us keep going. Like and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much again for tuning in. It's been a great time, Mr. Chester. I have much enjoyed, as always, my 30-ish minutes with you. Everyone who tuned in, we appreciate it. And if you are listening on the audio side, guys, thank you so much. Please head on over to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@DynastyDiehards. youtube.com/@Rasball. Subscribe. Don't miss our short form content. Don't miss our long form content. You really don't want to miss any of it. We're going to help you keep winning all off season long. For Matt Chester, I'm Nate Paulvote. We'll see you next week.